Sometimes the situation you're dealing with isn't with one person or one problem. It's an entire constellation of people behind it. This is a variation of the bubble technique that reduces friction within every part of that system or situation. If you've seen my video on the bubble technique, that approach works by creating a kind of energetic space that represents a situation. Instead of pushing against the problem, you imagine the entire situation as a bubble and you soften your friction around it by holding it as a neutral, adorable creature. So recently my guides showed me this variation of the bubble technique that works a little differently. Instead of looking at the situation as one big bubble, we're going to start looking at the individual parts inside that system, and I call this the Constellation Technique. When we're frustrated with something, we tend to collapse the entire situation down to one idea. We might think, this company is impossible to work with. This is absolutely ridiculous. These people are inept. But in reality, most systems are made of many moving parts, and they're different people with these different roles, with different responsibilities. So this is the way this works. You can use this as a visualization or imagine it in whatever way that you imagine. You start by imagining a situation like constellations in the sky. Okay, little twinkling stars that are going to represent the people in this company or the coworkers, the family members, or whoever's involved in this situation. So each person represents a small star within the constellation, a little twinkling star, and they each have their own perspective. They're all responding to life the best they know how, but with their own limitations, their own pressures, and they're all part of the same pattern. You're going to start by bringing in a fresh perspective. You imagine that at their essence, each of these little twinkling stars representing people are doing the absolute best that they can in whatever job or function or role they're playing in. These people are all navigating their own journey in order to attain this peace, happiness, and this sense of value and self-respect. You can even imagine the company itself as the galactic swirl in which this constellation is existing within. So if you're familiar with the bubble technique, you can also just place the stars within your bubble. Recently, I was dealing with a company and I had to interact with several different departments. This is kind of what spurred the Constellation Technique. And at one point, I realized that I was carrying a lot of frustration about the situation with all of these moving parts, with all these different people. I felt very good about the company as a whole. I'd been doing the bubble technique on it, and I did feel pretty good with them and their mission, but I was having so much frustration with all these individual people in the different departments. And I could feel the irritation building, so I decided to try the constellation approach. I imagined the entire system as my big swirl, and I saw all the moving parts and people as little tiny twinkling stars. This was customer service, operations, management, the art department, all of these things. And I saw that each one at their heart just wanted to do their job well, wanted to be peaceful, wanted to be happy. And almost immediately, something began to shift within me. All of a sudden, my friction, my irritation softened. It didn't mean that I suddenly agreed with everything that was happening, and it didn't mean that I necessarily wanted to continue working with them, but I wasn't carrying around that emotional charge anymore. And that alone was a huge shift. One of the things that I've learned over time is how the first manifestation that we experience is often in the way that we feel about something. Some companies have incredible systems. Some companies are chaotic. Some companies have good intentions, but they have flawed structures. And when we begin to see the entire constellation in this way, the emotional charge that we have with each of those stars and the general system itself starts to shift. And when the field shifts, the entire constellation begins to reorganize itself. Let me know how it goes. Please give this a go. It's super, super powerful. That's what I wanted to share with you all today. If you enjoyed this message, please share your beautiful energy. Like, subscribe, share, and comment. I want to know if you tried this out, and I want you to circle back and let me know what shifts in your reality, in addition to the emotional shift that you experience and the shift in your nervous system. If you're interested in coaching, readings, or visionary art, you'll find that information in the description box below. Thank you so much for tuning into Vibrational Sciences. We're diving into metaphysics, manifesting, mysticism, and the nature of reality. I will see you in the next message.